And now, it's time for the RPM Podcast.
I have always been a fan of
Hot dogs.
A bow wow or a bun pup.
I don't like buns.
Hot dog is correct.
That's huge.
Tube steak was next. Groundhog, a Coney Island chicken, a Coney Island bloodhound. Those are all hot dogs. Also, those are all harder to say than hot dog.
Yeah, there's a big controversy over the hot dog situation.
I love wieners. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the RPM Podcast. Sorry, Josh. I forgot I was hosting this for a second there.
It's all right. We love awkward intros.
Yeah, we are an awkward intro. Josh, what have you been up to lately?
Wait, how lately? Because we skipped 2 weeks.
We skipped it's been almost a month since our last RPM podcast.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure we all can blame that on one person.
Yeah,
Uncle Sam.
Lewis Hamilton.
Yes. I'm going to blame Nick Rendo.
Hey, he hasn't been here for the last 6 months, so what difference does it make?
He'll never hear this.
Yeah. It's funny because it's true. It's
my
funny
God.
because it's true. Well, Josh, you haven't been up to anything?
Okay, depending on how far back you want to go. Let's see. Last weekend I did something incredibly awesome. It's a bucket list item. Now, I don't know about you, people like you flat earthers over there, Sam, and creationists and all that crap. No, I'm not going to go down that route.
It's like you caught me with my pants undone.
Anyway, I've always been fascinated with space flight and NASA and all that stuff. We got to go down. It was kind of last minute. We went down to Virginia to the Wallops flight facility, and we got to watch the launch of the Antares rocket, which was bringing a Cygnus satellite spacecraft thing up to the International Space Station with supplies and some science experiments and things like that. And I mean, it was again poorly planned trip. I drove down, I got no sleep. I slept Thursday night, and then, at Friday, everybody, at least I got home from work and all that. And I've been trying to take a nap, could not fall asleep. And around 2 a.m. Saturday morning, we left the house, drove down to Virginia through the night. I was beyond exhausted. We got there 1 hour before planned liftoff, and with 43 seconds to go before the launch, somebody's little Cessna private plane flew into the downrange, the danger area, and they abort, so they canceled. They scrubbed the launch. I got there literally about an hour before. It was timed so perfectly, and I was going to come right back. So that was it. And we're like, oh no, and I was like, well, I guess time to go home. We knew this could happen. This sucks. The next planned launch was going to be the next morning, and my wife says, we're staying. We did not just drive through the night. I'm like, all right. So we called around, found some Days Inn or something, and we spent the night and got up at 4 a.m. and found a spot just down the road from where we had been, where we had a much clearer view, and we sat in the car for 3 hours. We got there we got up at 4. We were there by 4:20 or something like that. And sat there for 3 hours, launched, then we went, checked out, and headed home.
Peace. That's awesome.
I got video of it, and I'll tell you, man, it was great. It's been a bucket list item for many, many years, and I was beyond excited to see that go. And the weirdest thing is, you could see it with the naked eye, and it goes up, and it wasn't until about 40 seconds after that thing lit that the sound got to you. So you could see it, right away, but because light versus sound, speed, then you just hear this you could feel the rumble. I mean, it was amazing. And you want to talk about horsepower, except I don't know what the RPMs are on a rocket engine because it's kind of not really rotating.
We should look into that. We should sponsor some spaceships.
Yes. We'll get our name in space. We'll see who sees it.
Yeah,
But,
getting high with the RPM podcast.
Oh, God. I love it.
I'm sure a few of our listeners do it anyway.
Anyway, so how about you, Sam? What did you do?
Work and school. Work and school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Anybody wants to hang out in the North Carolina area, hit me up. Slide into my DMs, please.
you're going to be coming home next week, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll be
Thanksgiving?
coming home for Thanksgiving
And,
for the holiday.
Most importantly,
For the Turkey Derby, Josh.
yay!
For the Turkey Derby, Josh. Yeah, I'll tell you what, being down here in North Carolina, a lot of people know the Turkey Derby. So all of our racers out there, if you don't think this is a big event, this is a huge event. Like if Donald Trump could be there, huge. It's just that big.
Oh God,
So huge. It's just, I can't wait to get back and hang out with my Wall Stadium family, work with some of the best when it comes to circle racing, the best when it comes to circle racing. I mean, we can run a race better than NASCAR. I shouldn't be saying that, but oh well, I just did.
I wouldn't disagree with you. Speaking of NASCAR, we have so much to talk about, and because
you were in Virginia, and a few weeks ago they were in Virginia. I mean, come on, Josh, you just planned that perfectly.
Actually, I did want to quick touch on something and this is honestly, I swear the list just gets longer every week. Sad news to pass along. We lost several people that were very close and part of the Wall Stadium family. Linus Johnson, the welder. Mike O'Brien, he was a videographer mostly over at Mountain or now Evergreen Speedway. And then former official, was it? Well, I forget. Was he a tech guy or Tom O'Rourke? I got to meet him once very shortly. That was really before my time there. But very popular, very long career at the track. And just, I swear I saw one, then another, and it's just not a good year.
No, they say stuff like this happens in threes, and unfortunately, this proves to be right again. It's rather unfortunate and really sad. So our thoughts and prayers go out to their families and to our racing family, as we're such a close knit bunch. But personally, Mike O'Brien lived in my hometown up in Middletown.
Oh, wow.
And so I actually used to make Mike O'Brien's lunch at Jersey Mike's every now and then. He used to come in.
Wow.
He used to come with this cool dirt shirts from like New Egypt and stuff. I used to talk to him, and I knew who he was. And then Jim Murdoch and them, I know they worked well together, and just really sad. It's sad on the racing side, and then from a customer service side, I know a lot of people think, oh, you get close to your customers, but it's like one big happy family, and definitely sad to see the three of them go.
Yeah. And the thing is, this is not meant to sound insensitive in any way, but I am curious, with Linus gone, who's going to be taking care of the welding at the track? I mean, especially, and not to make light of it, but seriously, like when you have like those sportsman type wrecks when they tear down the guardrail, and you see, it was always Linus going down onto the track with the trailer and fixing that guardrail, and I mean I don't know who's going to be taking over. Those duties, and that's something I think still serious. I mean, obviously not as serious as a life lost, but I don't know how you move forward.
Yeah, I don't think Linus's skills could be matched with anyone. So they got a lot of big shoes to fill over there at Wall Stadium, especially for our biggest event coming up, which is Turkey Derby.
Actually, a quick fun story. Not my first time on the track, but my first time as, after I bought my car and did all this work, got the thing ready, and it was opening day at the track. We get there. I'm all excited, and I'm like, okay, cool. I just got to get it unloaded, get my stuff on. I'm going to go practice and probably do terrible, but, it's my first day, whatever. So, and as I'm backing the car off the trailer, it, kind of hung up for a second, and then I felt something let go. The exhaust, part of the muffler, this is back when the factory stocks had mufflers, got hung up on part of my trailer, and it snapped the exhaust manifold, and that's cast iron. Welding cast iron is not really a thing, but what am I going to do? I didn't have a spare manifold with me or any. I mean, it was, oh God, I'm screwed. went over to Linus, and again, it was first day, so you couldn't even have welding insurance yet. And I was like, "Is there anything you can do?" He actually was able to tack that back together so I could race that night.
That's awesome.
So I mean, it was my first day as like a car owner slash driver and all that, and
worst nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was one of the of all parts to break. If I blew a tire or something like that, okay, fine. We'll get another tire. You have all these spare parts and everything. One of the most impossible things to fix is what went, and he saved the day. So that's my little contribution for a memory for Linus there. So.
Well,
yeah, I just wanted to share.
There you go.
But anyway, on to Virginia. I'm not sure how you want to recap that.
Well, if you haven't watched the Martinsville race since now, you really should. It was a fantastic race. Some would say it was the greatest race. I was planning on coming on the podcast that week, the next week, and saying how great the race was and how it was the best race all year. But Phoenix happened. So we're going to talk about that in a few seconds. But Martinsville. Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott are no longer best friends.
Yeah,
right. They're not going to be caught out the Waffle House together.
Regardless of everything that happened, that was the biggest story that came out of there. And I mean, I think Hamlin did Chase dirty on that. I do. Chase obviously was upset about it, and rubbed him the wrong way back after the race. And I kind of thought, they yelled, at each other and whatever. And then, oddly enough, Hamlin, despite that heated moment later on, did say I got too hard into him and, basically admitted fault in the whole thing. So I figured, I'm sure Chase will give him a bump later, but, I kind of thought it was, for the most part, over. I mean, it wasn't going to be one of those Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski, flip at Atlanta kind of things. But, a little bump saying, yeah, I'm still not, I didn't forget what you did there.
Well, a lot of people compared what Denny Hamlin did to Chase Elliott to what Chase Elliott did to Brad Keselowski. But you see, they're two different things, considering that Brad Keselowski was still able to go on and race. And Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin pretty much drove into the back of Chase Elliott to take him out of the race.
Well, he didn't take him out. He took him out of that spot and ruined his day, but he was able to finish the race.
Well, the car was destroyed, Josh.
But again, aero doesn't matter at that track, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's all positioning and everything, though, and there come like 4 laps to go. What I don't understand, real quick, is the fact that Joey Logano caused that last caution at Martinsville.
Okay.
With like 4 laps to go. Brad Keselowski was leading that race. Brad Keselowski would have won that race. Why did Penske not tell Joey Logano to come in? If that was F1, they would have told him, get the hell off the racetrack. If your teammate's going to win the race, your teammate's about to take a spot for the championship. But no, they didn't.
If I remember correctly, in the there was radio conversation, and his crew chief admitted, "Oh, sorry, yeah, I made the wrong call there."
Yep.
He did own that. I mean, but now see, if this were football, not a sport, anyway, that coach would be out. He'd already be fired, right? For that one call. Like
he'd be joining Rex Ryan.
But you don't see that in NASCAR. Like, okay, he made a mistake. He tried to make a call and it went the wrong way. But it's, again, this is why screw horse betting or betting on horses. All right, bet on NASCAR or racing, because you don't know what's going to happen. It's so much more intricate of the things that could go wrong or fail or go right, or just, this guy lap traffic, and I don't know, there's just so much more to it. I think it's really chance.
It's amazing what happens when you add fenders.
Yes. Now, after the race, some fan, I'm assuming a Chase fan, came over and tried to fight Hamlin. He was screaming at him and stuff. Now, Brennan he said it was disgusting and terrible. Here's the thing. Think about all the times fans boo and say negative things. I mean, that's part of the passion of it. I don't think the guy was going to kill Hamlin. And even if he got to him and shoved him or whatever, I mean, I don't know. Brennan wants to take away. I remember Eric Graham was upset about, NASCAR neutering its drivers and not letting them say things that they wanted to just go out and say like when Kyle Busch complained about the car tomorrow and things like that, and here Brendan wants to, I think, neuter the fans and say, no, you're not allowed to be passionate. That's how I take it. I don't think if the guy had a gun and was going to, I'm not going down the gun violence road. I'm just saying if he was going to try to kill Hamlin, that's a different story. He was just screaming at him and wanted to shove him and tell him to F off.
I think that's the beauty behind racing on a short track. I mean, he probably, assuming he got a pit pass and everything, he was with the sponsor, he was with the team, he was able to get access to that area. Which is not easy to get into. I don't think people realize that getting hot passes.
It's not IndyCar.
Yeah, it is not IndyCar. You're not going to be able to walk around with Jeff Gordon, stuff like that, and be able to shake their hand. It's very inclusive or exclusive rather. And I don't know. I think Eric Brennan needs to kind of settle down when it comes to that. I mean, this is racing. This isn't football. This isn't basketball. He didn't hurt Denny Hamlin. I don't think he was going to go and kill Denny Hamlin, like you said. I just think it's part of the sport. The sport produces such raw emotion sometimes that, if you're a Chase Elliott fan, a Bill Elliott fan, Jimmy Johnson fan, Chevy fan, that was your guy. He just blatantly took out. It's your right as a NASCAR fan because you pay good money for those tickets to go and show the guy, hey, you're being a jerk.
Yeah, and one of my favorite experiences, and again, I'm a Kyle Busch fan, but also not a Kyle Busch fan, and I've said this before. But when I went with my wife to, I think it was her first race at Dover, and everyone was still so anti Kyle Busch or whatever, and they would drive they put the drivers in the back of the trucks, and they'd drive them around the track so they could wave to the fans. We've all seen the wave. This was a wave of boos that followed him, and I thought it was one of the greatest moments because people are expressing this, and it was just a fun experience. And my wife was like, "Wow, it's really this involved." And people are yeah, it is. Yep. People are that passionate about it, and it's not just one team versus the other. There are so many different drivers, and here's one that everybody dislikes so much. I don't know. I think it's just part of the sport and part of what keeps people coming back.
Yeah.
And
well.
I was just going to say, I don't think we should neuter, because if you look, this helps the ratings. It really does. People go to watch this stuff. So, yeah.
And then when they were racing side by side at Texas, you wanted to watch it because that's the only thing you wanted to watch at Texas because the race stunk.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Other than that, I do want to say, I think Chase was going to screw it up because he was getting loose earlier and before the whole Hamlin incident, back when he was leading, and everybody was like, "Oh, he's got it," and no, the car's going away, or he. I don't think it was so much the car going away as he was inside his own head, and he just I don't know if he overdrives or panics or starts mirror driving, because we're gonna.
Well, he was on older tires, I believe. No, he wasn't. No, I'm thinking of Phoenix.
Okay. But it was one of the things, he had a good position, and then he overthought it or whatever, and he choked again. There was one of those memes that was going around. I think I shared it just the other day. I'm some other famous player who is known for choking, and then Chase Elliott's hold my beer because he's going to find So that wraps up Martinsville. I think we already spent too much time on that considering how long ago it was. Texas.
Yeah.
Fun moment for me out of the whole Texas race was it was under caution, and they're on Junior.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Best moment of the weekend.
And he just looks at the camera and he sprays it with the water bottle. And I can just imagine one of the producers going, "Oh my God, he's going to short the thing out. He's going to destroy our, $10,000 camera or something like that in the car." It was a fun moment.
So besides the water bottle moment that Dale Jr. had, the only great moment I thought of Texas was Brendan Gaughan and Ross Chastain going at it.
Yes, that was entertaining. I will say, I was watching the Xfinity race with my dad, and you could see like the slower cars or the lap cars. I mean, they were so far off the pace from the lead lap cars that it was actually frightening, the closing rate. Like watching them, it was. I don't know. NASCAR needs to reevaluate their minimum speed rule for either that track or that division or whatever. That looked frighteningly dangerous. I mean, that's like, coming up on a parked car in the wrong lane or something on the parkway is what it looked like. It was ridiculous.
I think the problem is if they hire the minimum speed, they're going to lower the car count of the division. Because, I mean, they've ever seen a big car count go down with the whole.
No, you have a valid point. I don't want to see that. Yes, danger is an element of the sport and what keeps people going, but that I don't know. It just didn't
safety
seem right.
first.
Yeah, it just didn't seem right to me. Larson, the pit lane was closed, and he went through the pits, but he was not penalized because he did not stop. I don't know if you saw that part of it.
I did. I didn't understand that, but hey.
Well, they're saying the ruling was that even though he went down to pit and pit lane was closed, but he did not stop in his pit and get service. So at that point, he was just doing a
there was no
drive-through.
advantage of him going down pit road.
Yeah. In fact, he lost positions, and and unlike how they kind of used to do things, where the guy would hold the stop sign at the end of pit road and not let you out until all the cars went by or whatever. He just rejoined the field wherever he came out of pit road.
I mean, technically, he crossed the finish line and he didn't go into service. So, I mean, maybe NASCAR is just trying to be consistent there. Or they're setting a precedent of, hey, if you don't get service and you drive through the pits, it's fair game because you lost a bunch of spots.
Yeah.
Sucks to suck.
It was its own penalty at that point.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That's all I got on that. There was something
Phoenix.
else. Yes. Rising from the ashes, Choke Elliott strikes again.
I mean, okay.
Go ahead.
He had bad tires. He had worn tires. Matt Kenseth was coming. If it was anyone else in the field, they probably wouldn't have pushed that hard. But Matt Kenseth won the race, and he won. This might very well be his last NASCAR Cup Series win. So he had to win. He had to win. There was no. That was a job interview right there from Matt Kenseth. If Matt Kenseth did not win that race, he would guaranteed not have a ride next year. But this might be maybe Circle K comes back and picks up Matt Kenseth for a few rides. I was thinking maybe Michael Waltrip racing, picking him up for the 500 at least. Dale Jr. said he wants to maybe race the 500. Maybe him and Matt Kenseth make a team together. I don't know. Tinfoil hats are on, but I feel bad for Chase Elliott, though. Chase Elliott drove his ass off. You can tell, and at the end of the day, though, his car wasn't there. And it wasn't his fault. It just was his tires. He had a great race car, though. The car was fast.
Do you think he could have taken a different line and maybe, held him off a little bit more? Because I think he just – the speed was no match, I think.
I just couldn't see him be able to move around like that. Look at Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson tried to move around, trying to find the right lane, and he ended up wrecking.
Right. He was consistent this year, but Jimmy Johnson it was not his year.
No. A lot of people say it was a really bad year for Jimmy Johnson. No, it actually was a pretty solid year for any other team, but because you're Jimmy Johnson, 7-time champion, you had a pretty crappy year because you end up finishing 5th in the points.
Yep, absolutely.
If he wins Homestead, he's 5th in points. That is not a crappy year. I want to see freaking Carl Long finish 5th in the points. That's a damn good year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I also put in our show notes that Phoenix was greater than Martinsville, and I think that was Martinsville was not a bad race, but I think it was a lot of single file for a while.
The truck race. The freaking truck race. 6 wide. 6 wide. And that's where the start finish line is going to be next year. Right. Phoenix race. If you listen, I tweeted you, fantastic job. The facility is going to be perfect. Phoenix International Raceway is going to be the top racing facility when it comes to NASCAR. The track's going to be great. The facility is going to be great. The competitions are going to be great. Josh, man, I almost love Phoenix as much as Eric Brennan loves hot dogs.
Anyway, why are they moving the start-finish line? Did they say why? I know they're doing a project.
So what they're doing is they're putting the main grandstand facing the opposite side because they said the fans are too much in the sun. So they're flip-flopping it, and it gives them an excuse to flip-flop it when they put the start-finish line on the backstretch. And they're going to sell tickets now. Can you imagine if they just moved the grandstands to the backstretch? I mean, they really don't do anything.
I was going to say,
let's do this.
The crowd Phoenix was not what I had expected for a playoff race and for how good of a race it was. Maybe, I mean, I'm sure it plays into it for somebody. I mean, I know that all my chemo has made my skin terrible and incredibly photosensitive.
Yeah, and it was like 90 degrees all weekend there. I mean, the truck race was great, and the Xfinity race was great too. They were beating the crap out of each other.
Oh
you know, I mean, the Cup race, if anything, was the most disappointing part. And I thought it was a pretty exciting race until Matt Kenseth got the lead at the end.
Oh yeah, he just drove away at the end there. So
yeah, I mean, he really showed what Joe Gibbs' power is made of, and that's scary. If you think about it, for 2018 on a short track, Matt Kenseth, you know, if that was Kyle Busch in that position, can you imagine what a butt whooping he would have put on? You know, Joe Gibbs might be back for 2018.
Now, speaking of 2018, what has come out with new? With who's going where? Because I mean, like you said, Kenseth, that's a job interview because he's got nowhere to go right now. Danica is out at Stewart-Haas.
Eric
Almirola.
Almirola is going over to the 10. He's taking over Danica Patrick's car.
Right.
Trying to think what else.
Bubba.
I know they announced earlier this week that JTG and Doherty Racing and Hendrick Motorsports are teaming up for chassis or whatever. So that'll be a pretty strong alliance right there. That should be a pretty decent team with Chris Buescher and AJ Allmendinger.
Right.
Trying to think of what else. NASCAR wise, I think pretty much everything else is set. Oh, they don't know where Kurt Busch is going yet.
Huh.
They don't know where Kurt Busch is going. I don't even think Kurt Busch knows where he's going. Apparently, he has Monster that wants him again for next season, and Ford wants him to Ford next year. But I think Stewart-Haas doesn't want to pay him as much because he won one damn race this season.
Yeah, he's not bad. I mean, again, like we talked about Jimmy Johnson, he had actually a pretty solid year, but bad for him. Kurt Busch had kind of a bad year for him. Now I saw some comment of, Clint Bowyer, has a ride for next year, but Kenseth, who won, doesn't. So, what's the deal with that? Kind of a thing.
Well, if you think about it, Clint Bowyer has been in more chances to win a race this season than Matt Kenseth has been.
Okay.
I think so. I think Clint Bowyer has just had really bad. If anyone could have bad luck, it was Clint Bowyer this year. But if you think about it, Clint Bowyer finished second in Bristol. I think he had a few more runner-up finishes this year. Rather,
okay.
That's a strong team. I remember, think about it. It was a pretty adequate year for Clint Bowyer. That's a whole new manufacturer for that team. Kurt Busch, great season for the fact of the situation where the team was put in. Clint Bowyer, same thing. Danica Patrick. She'll run good whenever she wants to. But the fact that the 4 cars in the final 4, I mean, that just shows you how strong and how adaptable the Stewart-Haas racing team really is.
Speaking of the final 4, that's this weekend, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It'll be 48 hours from today, or today's Thursday. A few days from today.
I don't want to do math. Few days. So Homestead Miami Speedway, weird track, similar to Milwaukee with the turns, but bigger and
with the
I don't. It's weird, but
bigger, wider, faster.
But you always know it because there's seafoam green walls there. Now points are back to
and the crappy racing.
Yeah. Now the points have been reset for the top 4, the final 4. So essentially 0 across the board. Although I think I saw somewhere they call it 500 for everybody, but just call it 0 for everybody. That's the dumbest effing thing. Anyway, points are even. So really, it comes down to who finishes the best.
That's right.
Well, I guess it could depend on stage points though too.
True.
So if you win the first 2 stages and then finish third, but the other guy finishes second, it's going to be interesting.
I remember this is all new for this year, so
yes.
You're right, Josh. Technically, remember last year, Carl Edwards wrecked because he tried to win the damn race.
Yep.
If that was Carl Edwards, he had a few stage points. He probably would have been okay finishing 6th.
Yeah. And now I saw a lot of there was a comment like, "Oh, what do you guys think? Should we keep the stage racing or go back the old way?" And I can't believe the number of people that said go back to the old way. I'm like, have you noticed how much more exciting it was this year having the stages, breaking up the races, giving you better bathroom breaks and things like that, and giving them something to fight for? And I don't know. I love the stage racing. I love the way it goes down. Sam, who is your pick for out of the final 4?
Martin Truex Jr. I have to.
Now, is that who you want, or is that who you just think, or you know?
Yes, both. Both. I feel Martin Truex Jr. has been sandbagging. They won in Kansas about a month ago. They said that was their best race car, and they were going to bring it to Phoenix, but because they won at Kansas and they knew they were locked in by the points, they're saving it for Homestead. Martin Truex Jr. is going to be your 2017 Monster Energy Cup champion.
Okay.
How about you, Josh?
All right, I really don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx it, but I would like to see Truex win. Everybody loves an underdog, and I think Truex is an underdog. He has been for years. Just one of those nice guys. Now Chase is not an underdog. Chase is a rookie. Chase is a fan favorite.
But Chase Elliott isn't in it.
No. But what I'm saying is, when I talk about it being an underdog story, I don't want people saying. I know. I'm not talking about him having a chance. I'm just saying that I don't want people to say, "But Chase is an underdog." No, Chase would not be that great of a win. He's just a fan favorite. Truex is the underdog. Okay, and I think that would be. I think it would be a great storyline. I don't think anybody. I'm sure there's going to be some people that are unhappy, and because he wins, if he wins the championship, he will then create haters. Okay, that's the way it works. But I mean, I don't. Yes, he had the most dominant car. I don't know if he's been laying back the past couple races. He's been up in the top 3, top 5. So he's still strong, but that win, is he? Does he need to be in the win? I mean, you could see a freak accident on lap 2 that takes out the other 3, and all he needs to do is last another 5 laps and he wins it.
Who's this?
Well, I'm just saying, say Truex, or say say there's a big wreck and the other 3 get taken out, and he just needs to make it to lap 5 and he wins.
I understand what you're saying.
That could anything could happen. I mean, the championship could be decided that early, or maybe not.
Yes.
Maybe it'll be a side-by-side finish. We don't know. I'm excited to see what happens. Maybe a little nervous, but that's me having an opinion and caring. Beyond that, I mean, Harvick has come a long way. He was always lurking, and now he's kind of up there, so he's got a shot. Sorry, John Keane, but I don't want Harvick to win. Sorry, deal with it. And I don't know. The other 2, I just don't see. I don't know.
No.
Well, I guess Kyle Busch is always a threat. You don't think so this year? No?
No.
Okay. Why?
No, I think he's too overconfident. And I know people, that's Kyle Busch, Sam. What are you talking about? He's overconfident. But I just think going into Homestead, I personally, I just think I don't feel it. There's something in my gut that's telling me that Kyle Busch isn't going to be the champion.
Now, do you think it's like a manufacturer thing?
I think Toyota would do better if Kyle Busch won. I'll just say that.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't know. They're not paying me to say that.
I can tell by the Chevy poster behind you.
Yeah, this is the first time in a long time in NASCAR there hasn't been a Chevy fighting for the championship.
And now you and I are both Chevy guys, and wow. Wow.
But we Chevy swept all Final 4 spots on the Xfinity side.
Maybe it's where they're investing their money.
Now, granted, most of the time that when Toyotas won, they were Cup guys, so it didn't really make a difference.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Chevy lost a lot when Stuart Haas left. So, yeah. But I think we just summed up the last 3 weeks in NASCAR in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, with just about
7 minutes of banter.
Yes, yeah, we did go off.
We should get paid for this.
We
should get paid for this, Josh.
I think GoToMeeting should sponsor our podcast now because that's what we're using, and it is the most amazing audio for this setup. I mean, I am blown away at how crystal clear. Plus, the webcam has been pretty freaking reliable, and switching so that you can see this whole table. Of course, the one time that I'm the only person in this room.
Yeah, it doesn't matter though.
But now when I look at the TV, you feel a little more like I'm looking at you.
Yeah, I guess so.
But anyway,
we should do a sexy read for GoToMeeting. Be like, hey, this is Sam Bauer from the RPM podcast. Buy GoToMeeting because it's freaking epic. It is freaking epic. You should really check it out.
It is, and it's so easy to use. Honestly, I feel like this was actually simpler, despite all the crazy stuff that you can do with it. It was simpler to set up and log in, or even for you to connect, Sam, than Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan. Anyway, on that note, we're going to take a short break and come back with our Formula One, and we have a lot to think about for our local end with Turkey Derby coming up.
That's right. So we have an exciting show. Please come back after the break for the RPM podcast.
Catch you on the flip side. Got a question you want answered? Email us at racingpodcastnj@gmail.com.
Oh, Josh, you killed me. I had like the energy and everything. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the RPM podcast. Sam Ballard here with Josh Matthews in the Matthew Family Studio.
With, I thought you were going to say with herpes. Or...
No, Eric's not here. In the Matthews Family Studio here in Waretown, USA. Gosh, man. You know, for all of
I
our
threw
Jersey
you off
listeners,
so bad with that.
as much as we complain about high taxes in Jersey and stuff, Jersey is really, really nice. Really, really,
Certain
really
areas.
nice. I miss New Jersey right now.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. But anyway, back to more relevant stuff. We have F1. They actually decided, when we decided to take our hiatus again on the RPM podcast, they decided to crown a
I
champion.
think we were forced to.
And Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton ended up winning the F1 championship.
Mm-hmm.
Again. And as boring as I sound, was as boring as the races have been.
Yeah, I was really hoping for rain in Brazil. I was really hoping for that.
And it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But you know what did happen again? Felipe Massa retiring.
Yes, that did happen again.
Around this time last year, I told everyone to grow a pair of balls and to realize that it's stupid and it's no big thing. And Eric Brennan's here crying in his salty tears about it.
Oh my God.
Josh, I'm keeping this clean because this episode's going to go places.
Oh my God.
Eric, you're welcome. For all those who are disappointed because I'm keeping it clean, I'm sorry. But I'll make it up for you somehow.
Okay.
But
anyway.
yeah, they're crying in the tears over stupid Felipe Massa retiring.
Well, I think Rendo thought the same
Josh.
thing. Like, oh, running with the flag. It was this magical moment. And then the balloons. And then they had dollar hot dogs.
You know, Williams gave him that car. So he probably did just to get the car. It was a perfect plan. Perfect plan. Everything worked out for him. And now he can actually retire now. And he didn't wreck out of his retirement race. Well done.
Yeah, I'll say that was good for him.
And it was a good racing between him and Fernando Alonso and Brazil. So I give him that.
Yes. Let's see. What else do we have here? Renault engine failures. That's been a running theme. Now, is it Force India or no? Who's leaving?
Scudiero Toro Rosso or whatever.
Losing. They're
Rossi.
getting rid of the Renault engines and going to
Honda.
Yeah. Well,
Honda.
Probably be more reliable. I mean, it just was it everybody just engines blowing up all over the place. What a freaking mess. Let's see. We had contact with the race. Not last race. The race before. Contact on the first lap. Vettel, Verstappen, and Hamilton.
That was insane.
That was wild. And now the thing is, the question is, and this is the moment where I'm glad Rendo's not here because I know what he would say. Was Vettel's contact now? Was any of that intentional with Hamilton? Because he turn a little bit into Hamilton to try to force cutting that tire down or cause more damage? Because he had to come in and get his front wing replaced. But it cut Hamilton's right rear, or you could say a puncture. So I mean, do you think it was if I take him out, I can, and then I can come back and finish high enough and extend for another race to try to get the championship, or do you think it was racing or what?
I don't know. I think Sebastian Vettel realized he wasn't going to win the championship, so he's just driving like a jerk.
Maybe just trying to make Hamilton's day that much harder.
Yeah, be like, hey man, you're gonna win the championship, and that's okay. But you know what it is? The constructors' championship, like Bottas is consistent as AF. He is a consistent mofo, sitting there driving his race car with no problem.
He has done well, but now here's the thing. I know Nick also does not like. He's not a Kimi fan at all.
But who is?
I am.
Of course, because he has no personality.
What are you talking about? He has a great personality. He's an asshole. That's my
so
favorite
he can say
personality.
asshole now with no problem? Fine. Kimi is an asshole.
Yeah. I think all the wild stuff he said. I mean, yeah, I think all the drivers are giant crybabies when it comes. Oh, blue flag. Why are you not moving over? I said flag. Don't I know what you think you heard?
5 flags. Oh, these 5 flags everywhere. Oh no.
Eric
It's
Jones,
me, Mario.
checkered.
Don't get me started with Eric Jones.
Well, no. Remember, it was the end of the Bristol race, the Xfinity race,
Yep.
and they
Yep.
mispronounced flag. That's going to be
He's
one
an
of our
asshole.
intros. Yeah.
He's an asshole.
Anyway, in that race though, after Hamilton got that got the tires, he pitted. He limped it back around, pitted. Now Vettel came in, got the front wing replaced, and basically coming from last, made it up to 10th. Hamilton couldn't, and this is at lap 28. Hamilton could not pass a single car until lap 28. I mean, and I was blown away by this. I mean, for a championship, he has the lead in the championship at this point. He's trying to clinch the championship here, and he couldn't pass even like the back marker cars. Like, did something else get damaged on the car? Was it a downforce issue? I don't know. I mean, that was just ridiculous. But Vettel is going right by everybody there. I don't. Anything, Sam? Any comment?
It's just, I don't know. Lewis Hamilton's pretty hard to read. I think that's one of the reasons why Nick Rendell will never come out and say that he likes Lewis Hamilton because
I thought you were going to say come
he
out
drives-
about something else.
No, because he drives for Mercedes. He doesn't drive for Ferrari. But like Lewis Hamilton is pretty hard to read when it comes to him personally as his driver. You can't tell if he's being serious or not. I don't know. I just think that it's hard to tell whether or not he was just riding along to make it more, maybe he realized, hey, why bother racing my ass off right now? I could just finish back here and still win the championship.
Okay. All right. Fine. Fair enough. I thought he had to make it up to 5th to secure it at that point.
You see, the thing is, I think he felt he had the advantage going into Brazil.
Okay.
Monday morning quarterback, obviously.
Yeah, I got
But,
you.
I don't know. The Mercedes guys are weird like that, though. But they're not like Kimi Räikkönen. Kimi Räikkönen is something else, so.
He's something else. But now I want to say on top of that, he has, again, yes, the top 2 teams are Mercedes and Ferrari. Sure. But, I mean, Kimi has, just like you were saying, Bottas, are you playing with something over there?
No, you're good.
No, it was making a weird noise or something. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know
I'll
what
throw my
it was.
phone away.
Anyway, I was going to say, Kimi, you say Bottas is, solid, running really well, holding his own. Kimi's been up there too. Kimi's been able to hold a lead for a while. He's been in that top 3, other than when, Vettel comes over and wrecks him.
And that's part of the reason why I think Sebastian Vettel feels like he had no control. His teammate was taking points from him.
Well, when you're not up to snuff, if you're supposed to be the lead there, I get the team orders thing. I don't like it, but I get it. But Kimi's up there doing the best that he can for the team at that point because you have a constructors championship to worry about too. I know that had been decided previously, but why do people not like Kimi if he's actually still up there in running for podium positions?
I just think it's his personality. I just I don't like Kimi Räikkönen.
Look,
I never liked Kimi Räikkönen though.
I mean, if he was giving up positions to Magnussen or Ocon or something like that, then that's one thing. But if he's up there, I don't know. I just don't see why people don't like him. Now, I think also, and now Nick's going to be mad at me again, because I know he's a big fan of Felipe Massa. In that same race, Massa did run Vettel off the track. If you look at it, it wasn't him just getting a little bit loose. He turned and ran Vettel off to the track. It was not. I mean, if you ask me, I'm sorry. That car was not loose. That was Massa being a something.
Those damn Williams always getting in the way.
um, let's see. Grosjean was issued a time penalty for contact with Alonso.
I don't know what's going on with Haas F1.
They started so
they make me
strong,
sad.
but well, here's the thing: Grosjean was doing so well for a while. Then now he's not. I mean, he's become like the second man on the team, but.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done a few dumb things. Now I remember he got a time penalty. He got loose and got in, to him. But I mean, it was he drove in a little too hard. It was racing. He didn't. It's not like he wrecked the guy, but they don't like contact, even though it's incredibly exciting. So they penalized him. Just
F1 was like, whoa, they're racing. Got a black flag them.
Yes.
Blue flag.
As Render would say, it's about finishing where you started. Which that just doesn't do it for me.
Just leave it there. I'm not going to touch that.
Yeah. And what I was talking about when Grosjean got loose, that was against Ocon, and that was Ocon's first. This is in Brazil now. It was Ocon's first retirement of the season. Well, I mean, what a year he's had. I mean, I know it's not a podium finish or anything, but I mean, he's been incredibly.
Force
strong.
India has been on it this season.
Amazing.
On it. They would have had 2 podiums in Baku, but they wrecked each other, so they didn't win that race. But they would have.
And then farther towards the end of the race, Verstappen was upset with Grosjean for racing him. Now Grosjean was battling with Lance Stroll for position. It was a legitimate battle. Verstappen was lapping them, but I don't think he wasn't. Verstappen himself wasn't immediately battling anyone else. He was just trying to lap them.
For once.
And Grosjean was just, didn't slow up to just let him by easily. And there was that whole whiny, blue flag, he's not moving over. What is he doing? What is come on, just grow up and get by.
Race a car.
Yeah, worry about they all. Honestly, I think I didn't really want to see Hamilton win the championship. But I will say it's hard. It's one of those things. It's hard to dislike him. It's kind of like when Jimmy Johnson was winning all the championships for NASCAR. He's a good driver, but come on, I want to see somebody else win. But you didn't dislike him. He was really well spoken.
I never got that feeling with Jimmy Johnson. I was like, heck yeah.
No, what I'm saying
Chevy,
is,
yeah.
I was just gonna say it. It wasn't a bad thing, but he was so well spoken that it was hard to dislike him. Whereas Kyle Busch
would always
come off. Yeah, exactly. So I think Hamilton kind of has that effect for me, where it's like I can't hate him. He's I don't want to see him win all the time, but at the same time, I don't want to just say, oh no, screw him. Like no, he's well spoken. Generally, really, he is the calmest guy on the radio. Every time you hear Hamilton's audio, on you'll hear him say, yeah, after he wins a race, maybe. But if he's, tires are going away. It's like, did he just smoke a joint?
I never understand how they can do that. Because, like, when someone cuts me off in traffic, I'm like, hey!
Hey,
oh,
hey. My God.
But then it's just, I don't know. But you're right, Josh. Good point. Good point.
Brazil had a lot of crazy action on that first lap. I don't know. It's so hard to recap it because it was just all over. Everybody's hitting. The replays are generally terrible.
I just threw my computer on my. Did you see Lewis Hamilton's wreck for qualifying?
No, I didn't see. I saw an image. Now, my question to you: do you think that was on purpose so that they could try to do? For our folks at home, Sam is nodding.
Yes,
he's on the verge of headbanging.
Yes. Yes. Because now they can do whatever they want with their car. Hey, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not against the rules. They're testing the limits. They're being Mercedes. This is why Mercedes wins championships, because they spend all this money to put in a race car just to wreck it on purpose.
Yes. Well, it's a Mercedes thing, I guess.
It's kind of like what the NASCAR guys do when they win a race. Back in the day, it was like, hey, don't burn the car down because we got to use it for next week. NASCAR's like, yeah, tear that crap up. Yeah, we don't need that car anymore. It's illegal anyway. Tear the back end up. Dumbasses. That's an asshole thing to do, but we talk about that during the off season.
Yes, definitely. Now, next year, in addition to the Halo, there's talk. It's not official yet, from what I'm told, but there's talk of going to a 3-engine rule for the season instead of 4. Do you have any opinion on that?
I mean, I just think it's the FIA trying to limit and trying to close the gap with competition. They've done it with this whole new package with the faster, lower. Nick Rendo was right. The racing has gotten a little bit better, but I think the money spent from guys like even Force India, which is a pretty adequate team in the middle compared to those up in the front, and then compared to backmarker team like even Haas. Haas has not been performing as well as it did for their sophomore year as they did last year. So I don't know. I just think it's the FIA trying to give more competition, and I applaud them for that because they get a lot of crap otherwise.
So all right, so you see why they're doing it, but now do you agree with it? Do you think that's the right area to play with to address that issue?
As a race director, as a race official, yes. Yeah. Unfortunately, you have to grab these race teams by the balls and show them that you have the power. Otherwise, they'll just run over you. As a race fan, no, because Ferraris are fast, Mercedes are fast. I want to go to the racetrack and hear that raw speed, see it. I'm a Ferrari fan because not just because Kimi Räikkönen is an asshole, but because of Ferrari. The whole powerful engine, the red cars they sell. It's a whole package thing.
Right.
And this whole losing the engine thing, the competition may not be there speed-wise, but it'll be there quality-wise. And as a car fan, it's kind of sad to see. Okay. What about you, Josh?
Now, I agree with I see that where you're going. Maybe a limit. Well, I don't know. Does it limit spending or increase spending? Because now you have to do more for each engine to make sure it's going to last, but you're removing one engine, so you're taking out the cost of one. I don't know. That's back and forth, but I see where you're going with that. Now, I know Hamilton was against it, and I think even I want to say it was one of the Force India drivers was against it as well. And it means more coming from a team, or lower funded team, than Hamilton, because Hamilton's like Mercedes would see it as, well, you're just taking stuff away from us, and
yes,
for a lower team who actually might benefit from this, from the plan for this, says no, it's a bad idea. That says something to me, and part of it is, and one of the arguments was, and this is what I agree with, as much as I don't want to see, because I don't have that option, in factory stocks to be like, oh, well, I got 3 more engines, I can just throw it in after I blow it up.
Throw it in, no problem.
But the guys are going to be backing off a bit. Are they going to race as hard? Because you need to preserve this engine now, so you can't run it as hard. You
like I said, the racing quality, it may not be there.
So, and isn't that the whole point of this? It's racing. What are you doing? Let's see. Who
can save their crap the best?
It's like a competition of who can walk the fastest.
But if you think about it, though, what happened to Sebastian Vettel and Lance Stroll a few months ago with that whole after the race wreck and having him to switch the motors or whatever, that would be a huge problem in the beginning of the year if that were to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. Yes, I don't know. But
you always these F1 cars are built to last. 3 engines, you're like, oh my gosh, 3. I think Renault would be a dizzy. Oh my gosh, 3 engines down to 4 engines down to 3. Oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? But these cars are built to last, people. They're not built like the cars we drive. These cars are actually built to endure and be used and beat the crap out of. If Max Verstappen can win a race, these cars are built to last.
That's all right. That's funny, but at the same time, I kind of disagree because I think that the specs on them are so tight that. Was it? You have to heat the engine, otherwise it won't even turn over.
That sounds like a Ferrari thing. That's why I buy American.
All right. I'm not going to touch that anymore. I think that's going to wrap up our F1. Hey, by the way, we did forget to mention about Choke Elliott getting even with Hamlin.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But honestly, I don't think it was. He nudged him. No. It wasn't even that wasn't even a door slam. And everybody's like, oh, he got him back. I don't know.
So Denny Hamlin spat in Chase Elliott's face, and Chase Elliott went up and cuffed his boot. That's all he did. I mean, it wasn't there. He still owes him one.
What was it? That was like that the wrestling match of was it John West Townley? And
oh yeah,
like that's
gosh,
all it was. It was like,
we haven't talked about the caution clock for a while.
Oh, that was good. Thank you, Sam. I needed that. All right. Anyway, on to the local stuff. The Wall Banquet. You didn't get to go. Eric Brennan is not
I was
here.
invited.
I was invited.
Only the cool kids, I guess.
I think the invitation went to Middletown, not to North Carolina, though.
Yeah, that's okay. I understand.
That might be the problem. Anyway, it was really nice. I got there late because that whole rocket launch thing. We left Virginia Sunday morning, I guess late Sunday morning technically. Then I had to stop home, shower, change, drop the kid off with my parents, then head up there. So I got there about an hour and a half after it technically started. Was wonderful. Food was amazing. Had a great time talking with everybody, hanging out with all. I just the whole night talking. I don't think I got to talk to my wife for more than 5 minutes there because I was busy talking with every other freaking driver and every division. It was crazy.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, no, that's typical for the track. Again, thank you to the Kraus family. That was we had a great time. Look forward to next year, hopefully. I want to say, Hannah DiMartino was there, hanging out with Brian O'Shea. I sat with Tim O'Shea. We were hanging out. Hannah looked a lot like Ariana Grande. I don't know if you were there. It was fine. I looked over like, wait a second. I don't know. I think it was the way she had her hair done. It was kind of funny. JC Duvall, what were you doing, man? No, I'm not talking about what you think I'm talking about. I'm talking about there's a post. If you know him, you can find it. I'm not going there. What I'm talking about is they called the top 10 drivers up from each division. 4 cylinders are up. JC gets called for his trophy. He goes up, grabs it, and then goes back to his seat. You're supposed to stand up there. Then he gets back, and everybody's like, "Whoa!" He had to go back up and stand there and get, for the picture and everything like that. But I found that amusing. I'm just teasing you, JC. I love you. You know I love you. But I found that amusing. I chuckled. But that's how you know he's a rookie.
Doesn't know where to stand. No. It's like Ricky Bobby when he's like, "I don't know what to do with my hands. Where do I put my hands?"
Exactly. Anyway, so that covers that. Congrats to all our champions there, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your trophies. Honestly, Eric Brennan got a trophy. Obviously not for participation or for attendance,
but for the amount of beer consumed in a race season.
I think he could fit a fair amount in his trophy. Anyway, coming up, we already had one round last Saturday, Turkey Derby practice. Coming up this Saturday, more Turkey Derby practice. And then the following Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Turkey Derby itself. I'm excited. Sam, are you going to be there?
I will be there Friday and Saturday for Turkey Derby.
What are you doing Sunday?
I have to fly back to North Carolina.
Screw you!
I know. It's my favorite day, Sunday for Turkey Derby. But education before education. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. Anyway.
But no, I'm excited for Turkey Derby. By the way, you forgot to mention Matt Hirschman won the North-South Shootout down here at Concord Speedway down in Concord, North Carolina.
Congrats to him. Good job. I didn't get to read up a whole lot. I just got my Area Auto thing yesterday. I barely have been able to get through it yet. Been busy doing far too many things and trying to get the show ready and everything else. But no, just so much going on. I'm just super excited for this coming up. I mean, it's what a grand finale it is. Every year with Turkey Derby.
Ryan Preece coming up. Danny Bone.
Actually, no, Preece. He, I believe, was just announced as signed.
He's racing the 18 for Joe Gibbs at Homestead.
Yes, yeah. So he gets to go back and do that. So excellent for him, and he still gets to do the local stuff, which is amazing. Gasly. Back to F1 real quick. Gasly was announced for Toro Rosso. It looks like Sainz is out of a ride now. I think I caught Sam off guard there. Yep, sorry.
Dumbasses. They could switch over to Honda and they drop Sainz, man. Red Bull's losing it, man. They are losing it.
Well, that's Toro Rosso. So I mean, it's kind of they're keeping
Same difference.
Fine. As I've already had 2 20-ounce Red Bulls here, and I'm ready to go to bed.
Joe Gibbs did sign Ryan Preece for 10 races at least next season in the
There you
Xfinity
go.
Series.
That's what I
Watch
was
out
looking
it.
for. Thank you, Sam. Saving the day once again. Wow. I mean, I don't even know what to talk about at this point. There's just so much.
No,
going on
I mean we wrapped it up 3 weeks worth of racing in less than an hour. Great job, Josh.
Yeah, we didn't have to hear Brennan. That's why.
No, and I forgot what I was going to say. But Turkey Derby is going to be exciting. We have one more show before Turkey Derby, so we can wrap up the Cup Series.
Yep.
And Turkey Derby. That's like a monster show. That's a hot dog of all RPM podcast episodes.
Yes.
So you need to watch it.
Now, for those of you interested in Turkey Derby, the practice, if the past serves to be true for now, if you would like to go and watch practice in the grandstands, it is free.
It's free. It is free.
And you can get an idea of who's doing what, who's going where. It's not a bad show. And when you get a bunch of the cars out there at one time, it can look just like a freaking race because you got to know how you are, not just by yourself, but in traffic as well, and what your competition's up to. So I used to do that before I got into driving, and I'll tell you, I went to every practice that I could. So, Sam, are you going to be working?
For Turkey Derby?
Yes.
Yes, I will be working Friday and Saturday.
Good. I
Not
got a moving target then. Thank you.
I'll be there at 8 a.m. 8 a.m.
Oh, that late,
8 a.m.
I used to pull up at 6 a.m. Do you think
I
I can
know.
get handicap
I know.
parking for the race car with the cancer?
I'm not going to say anything. I have to behave.
That's funny. That's
I'm biting my tongue, Josh. I am
Okay.
biting my tongue. I promised myself I was going to behave because Eric Brennan's not here.
okay. All right. On that note, I think that covers about everything. If we missed anything, please email us. AJ Wright, we're still thinking about you. We're going to put that together. Eric Brennan has been making life incredibly difficult for us right now, but we are going to put some of those ideas into use and do. I particularly like your driver of the week idea. So we're going to work on that. I know Scott Riggleman wants to be on. Maybe we'll do that next week in preparation for Turkey Derby. I think that'll work out if we can get Brennan to show up. And we'll see where it goes from there. Other than that, what have we learned today, Sam?
Well, I just learned that they have handicap parking for the races at Wall Stadium. Besides,
I don't know that they do. I'm just wondering if I can, try to make that work. I'm going to get the car up by the bathroom or something.
yeah. Let's see. I forgot. I should have wrote it down. I don't know. I got nothing. I got nothing when it just when it
You
comes to
said
that.
you had something before. Now you're leaving me hanging.
I did. I did. Oh, Earnhardt Jr. should not come on the podcast because we can't afford to replace all the equipment that he'd spray with a water bottle.
Yes, that's true. I learned that Sam doesn't think Nick will come out.
Oh, great.
I also learned that Sam wants to get high with the RPM podcast.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably more productive than what Eric Brennan's doing right now.
Probably. Most likely. Other than that, please like, subscribe, share. Sharing is very important. Get the word out. We're growing.
Sharing is caring. Hugs, not drugs.
Yes. No cuddle with the struggle.
No, not here at the RPM podcast because we're Eric Brennan free. That's why. Zing.
That's terrible. All right, folks. We'll see you next week. Thank you for listening. Again, please subscribe. Please share. Go to iTunes. Leave us a review. If you want us to talk about anything or if you want to be on the show, please email us or contact us through Facebook. We're usually pretty good about responding. And we'll catch you next time right here on the RPM podcast. Go to Wall.
Please come back.